Oscar Hammerstein II seems to have been born with a healthy sense of self-worth, which he maintained for most of his 65 years. But he never developed excessive self-regard. The megalomania of his grandfather, the impresario Oscar Hammerstein I, produced in him a distrust and dislike of bragging. The boy rarely saw his famous namesake, but his grandfather's presence loomed. Oscar II's father, Willie, and his uncle Arthur spoke constantly of the old man, usually joking about how crazy he was, but Oscar II could discern quite easily the awe and fear he engendered. Much later, Oscar II figured out that his uncle Arthur did not like his own father, Oscar I, and, now at the age of 80, still has a frightened look in his eye when he speaks of him. Strangers often inquired about the impresario, causing the grandson to wonder what was so great about him. My other grandfather was so much nicer. He bought me hard candy and took me for walks in the park. Much of what we know about Hammerstein's youth comes from a series of letters he sent to his son Billy in late 1952 and 1953. These missives are the closest he came to writing an autobiography. They are notable for everyday details about New York at the start of the 20th century, like the horse-drawn cart that sold Moxie, a syrupy sweet drink for children that Oscar was not allowed to have, and for young Oscar's flashes of insight about the workings of the world and of his own humming consciousness. They suggest that, had Hammerstein ever published a memoir, it would not have been a bestseller. He portrays himself as an observant child who kept himself on a consistently even keel, even after the sudden death of his adored mother. Of course, these missives were written in tranquility by a celebrated artist in his 50s, someone who felt that life had worked out rather as it should have. Some passages are the literary equivalent of portrait sitting and are best candid adjacent. If peace means peace of mind, I have this to an amazing degree compared to all the other people I know. I have always had this somehow. I have never been harried or extremely worried except for temporary specific causes. In a confused world, I am confused, but I am not thrown into a panic by confusion. I am not unduly distressed by it. And yet there was tumult. The history of the Hammersteins taught me that two activities were more common among urbanites in the aughts than I assumed: fisticuffs and the packing of belongings. Apartment and tenement-dwelling New Yorkers changed residences often in the early 20th century. The less well-off Gershwin family, for instance, moved more than 20 times when Ira and George were boys. In Oscar's first 9 years, the Hammersteins occupied at least 6 homes, all in Harlem or the Upper West Side.